My buddy Dash for this episode of Double Take. Dave, I just said joined by Dash, but we're joined by Dash
Talking
and
in
Dave.
the third person. That's
The way you
weird.
look,
the way you feel.
Wow. Talk about an interesting setup. Hey, everybody. Happy Saturday evening. We've had a pretty interesting weekend. Also, if you caught the Roma and Inter game this morning, pretty wild, which we'll cover that as well. And we have Udinese on Monday, and it's a call-in show, so we've got lots of cool things that we'll talk about, sit down, and have fun with.
There's quite a bit. Yeah, there's quite a bit. Yes, the new logo. So that's thanks to David Elitok. So thank you very much. He designed that for us, and we're giving her a rip. So let us know what you think. Yeah, it's the Saturday night call-in show, but it's also a pregame for 2 days from now. Bit of an odd one.
It is a bit of an odd one. Because, why not do it all in one go? Because
tomorrow's the Super Bowl, so
everybody's gonna be busy watching Taylor Swift, right? So there's not really gonna be anything
absolutely
too crazy going on.
All the Swifties be out.
Super Bowls.
Who's playing? Who cares?
Exactly.
Taylor Swift there.
Not my line. Well, I think one of the things that before we get into the pregame, do you want to? I kind of want to talk about Inter Roma a little bit, right?
Yeah.
I think it merits a little bit of a conversation. I just want to say that the IFTV Twitter curse strikes again, right?
Yes. Because
when Roma went up at halftime, IFTV posted they did the infamous, and I have it on Discord. They did the De Rossi ball, and then with the next 45 minutes, you saw the absolute opposite. So if I am a Romanista, I am asking IFTV to never post mid-game again.
The first half did look pretty decent. The first 7 minutes, they were ripping.
The one thing that I kind of wanted to talk about with Roma that they did well was counterattacking the first half.
Yeah, they just lost their legs.
They did. It was incredible, right? Because the second goal that they got with El Shaarawy, it took every single bounce in the world against all of the uprights, but it was just clean, concise, just ping, ping, ping. It was just straight pings, and that's unfortunately, I wish that was something that we have as far as ball movement, but we don't. However, it is what it is. But Misak brought a really good point where everybody at halftime was like, "Oh, look at Roma, that gosh darn Allegri guy." And then it's just it's like the Simpsons meme after that. They just absolutely lost, crickets. I'm still looking for all those 4-3-3 De Rossi ball enthusiasts. But
listen, De Rossi was gonna fail eventually, right?
Yes.
And of course, Inter can do no wrong this season, it seems. So. Yeah, I mean, they got undone. They came in aggressive. It was a good showing. If Marino was in charge, would it have been better?
I don't know. I think the one thing we got to be honest with is Lukaku did squander a whole lot. He did. He really, really screwed the pooch. But I mean, outside of that, right? They came in with a great game plan, but the problem is, and this is where I had the issue after coming out of halftime, is that Roma didn't really change their approach, right? They just
kept on going,
kept going
into the wall.
And then that's kind of what bit them in the ass per se, because if you look at the two goals that Inter took, Inter effectively took out their fullbacks. They countered Roma, and it's I'm sitting there thinking, I'm like, they just out-countered Roma on these. And it's dude, what? If I'm sitting there, I'm like, why are you not making an adjustment? I mean, obviously that's, a new coach error per se on De Rossi's part, but I don't know, man. You gave the Angelo and Karsdorp absolutely
Yeah,
Absolutely
he
botched
he
it.
made some interesting calls in the lineup, like even Hoyson starting in a game like that. Questionable, perhaps. He's made some rookie mistakes, anyways, and Inter they punished them, and that
They
is a
did. Oh, they
championship
did.
team, right? Like being down 2-1 at the half and coming back winning 4-2. Like, man, it's we were all cheering Roma. I know we were. It just hurts because we were 45 minutes away from closing that gap back up again.
Kombacho wants to know about the logos. The logos are D&D. We're experimenting. We're experimenting with some new stuff.
Not like the college type of experimenting.
Like we're seeing how it goes. Like if you guys like it, if you don't, 'cause we might be putting it on some David Dash exclusive merch. So we're trying to see gasp and see if you guys like it or not. But
Speaking of which, we totally forgot since we're self promoting at this moment. You're supposed to like and subscribe the video. We're supposed to do that as soon as we start the video.
it sounds corny if we do it at the beginning. Like, hey everybody,
So-
like and subscribe. By the way, we've got this and this and this and this going on for you.
If you do it right, it doesn't have to be so bad. We just don't do it at all, and that's the
Yeah,
problem. So
we're-
please do like and subscribe.
We're totally humble. We're very humble individuals that don't care about any of that stuff, right? We're super, super humble.
The La Liga new the La Liga new logo.
La Liga logo looks a little bit tacky, but it's fair. I see what it is.
Oh, I see.
Man, I lost my train of thought now. Though I did want to illustrate, though, the one thing that Roma have that we don't is Pellegrini.
Yeah,
I think
a
Pellegrini,
world class midfielder.
just an absolute, he can move the ball.
Yep.
He's just, man, I gotta give hats off to Pellegrini, because that is like the main difference between a good counterattacking team and a bad counterattacking team is if you have that one midfielder that's able to move the ball and just drive it forward. It's just something that man, it's like, for example, how Inter have Canalogu, Roma have Pellegrini. We kind of have Cambiasso.
Yeah, so our midfield, we don't need to beat that horse again.
Yeah.
We know what's up with that.
No, for sure, but
Let's not dwell. Let's not dwell though, because we want to get the lines open. There's so much to talk about.
Yeah.
Screw Inter, screw Roma. Let's talk about the
And
pregame. Get that out of the way.
That's not offsides. Just to keep the record clear for people that were whining about that call.
Yeah.
That was not obstruction. I implore you guys to look up what obstruction is.
At the end of the day, I mean, they lost 4-2.
Yeah.
They fell apart.
Yeah. Okay. I'm
Talk
trying to
about
find-
talk
I'm
about
trying
G's. We'll
to-
talk about G's later.
Are we playing Monday or are we playing tomorrow? Because
We're playing on Monday.
It is not showing up. Wow.
They just
there
forget
is.
it because it's
Yeah.
Monday?
No, Fat Mob
Or
is
you
just kind of like, nah.
No,
Niet.
I'm blaming you.
Yet. Okay. So there's really no press conference on this whatsoever.
No, not
It's
yet,
actually
because that's
funny.
going to happen tomorrow.
Yeah, I know. We've got literally really little to no news, but I think the one thing that's going to be big that begs a question that I am seeing and what people are talking about is the new formation that allegedly we're playing. So
Allegedly. I don't know.
allegedly,
Are we allegedly playing it? Is FOTMob allegeding it?
Fat Mob can't tie their own shoes right now.
Okay, so they have nothing.
So
So I do have that source. It was from Gazzetta.
yeah, I know they're probably trying to clickbait, but this is what it is allegedness talking about. All of it in its allegedness. So this makes it interesting because now this is what they're saying is going to happen. So you're going to have a back three of Bremer, Gatti, Danilo, and then midfield four of Kostic, Rabiot, Locatelli, and McKennie. And then you're going to have Yildiz as the left attacking midfielder, Chale as the right attacking midfielder, and Milik as your striker because Dusan has been doing too many thrusts and has injured his abductor / Poblaja again. So this is what it's saying right now. This is what it's looking like. How I feel about this, I don't really know, to be honest with you. The one thing that I think that Allegri's trying to go off of, if this is going to be what he's going to experiment with, is I think Allegri's saying, hey, I need to overload the midfield and open up space for my wingers, because if you've looked at how Juve have played in the last recent games, their wing play has been effectively neutralized.
And why would we not want Cambiasso instead of Kostic?
I don't know. This is what it is, right? If I were, in a perfect world, I would say this, right? I have no
Much
idea.
prefer that. Much
So
prefer that.
if I were to draw, so let's get the old marker here, the old marker Rooney. So I think what Allegri wants to do is he wants to have Cambiaso and McKennie essentially work. Oh God, that is such a terrible line. Move that out of the way. So he wants McKennie and them to work off of the edges here. So he wants those two players just to operate the wings there, where I think your transitional play. So he wants to overload the middle of the field with four, or Milik or Dusan is going to be that reference point that facilitates the ball into these guys. So essentially, what you want is you're going to want Charlie to occupy and run this spot here, and then you're going to want Yildiz to occupy and run this here. So he's going to want these guys to essentially move freely in this central space, with Milik or Dusan being, the slider per se that slides the ball on and off over there. I don't know per se. It seems this is what I'm thinking it would happen. I don't know for sure, but this is what it's going to look like, because if you look at it here, this kind of makes Rabiot not have to create too much. All he has to do is just play it past to Cambiaso or Yildiz. Same thing with Loca. Loca could just lateral it to these guys, and
And
they're going to
body
be the
some
ones
bitches around.
pretty
Of course.
much.
Don't
So
forget. Both
what
of them, really.
what is
Just
the
light
German Dave
tackles.
saying? I don't think we'll try that immediately against a team that will try to sit back and counter. Honestly, I don't know if
Yeah,
it's Max's
I don't.
style to make them work.
I agree. I think this is all like an idea for
Yeah,
maybe somewhere in the future before the season's up.
but I mean, this Udinese is essentially a get right game, right? Because Juve need to get right really badly. Because a draw and a loss is not really good momentum. Because if we break it down here, so I'm assuming Udinese is going to play a 3-5-2 to counteract, or essentially that's what they normally play in general. So this is kind of how we'll look on our side, and then this is what I'll just give them white over here. So they'll play a 3-5-2, and obviously I think they've re-signed Perea, so Perea is going to be their main anchor on their squad, just as he was last season, but they're still Udinese and they're still struggling. So when we go with the five across, I think the reason why this formation's been leaked for Allegri to mess around, or not, Allegri to mess around it with, is because what he's trying to do is he's trying to effectively force the wing play to be a one-on-one battle here. So he's trying to do that, whereas Milik will go up here and occupy the main center back, and then you'll have. So he'll go up here to try to do this. So generally, the idea is he wants to effectively neutralize their center midfielders to kind of cause a little bit of an overload of the midfield. So this is what I'm thinking is going to happen, per se, if Allegri runs that kind of formation, because these guys will kind of be forced to play around here. So what Allegri's trying to do is he's trying to isolate these guys. So when you have a bunch of bodies in the middle, it forces Udinese to cope by throwing at least one or two extra guys. Because, like, for example, with Yildiz is going to merit two players on him roughly about at all times. Same thing with Charlie as well, because Charlie's going to force players to come into an awkward position because Charlie is a dribbler. So with Allegri putting two attacking midfielders that have dribbling combinations, it's going to effectively pull players into the middle. So then it leaves Cambiaso and McKennie with one-on-ones with the wing. So that's going to be what I'm suspecting, right? Because Allegri is going to try to jam everyone in the middle so he can open up the wings for Cambiaso, McKennie, and Kostic. And so, go ahead, Dave.
No, just the question: difference between 3-4-3 and this. It's
Big difference.
Essentially, like it's an offshoot of it. It's a 3-4-2-1.
So here, let me show him here from this. So the difference between a 4-3-3 and this. So we'll have it here. So this is going to be our 4. Move these out wide. So with a 4-3-3, you're essentially telling these guys to go out to the byline. This is kind of how it would look.
It's more wing play, correct?
It's a very spread out game. It's a counterattacking style if you have pacey wingers, and these two guys can they can hit a shot from 400 meters away, like elite sniper
Jesus
passes.
Christ.
That's kind of what it is, right? Because the idea is you want the angles of attack in a 3-4-3 are going to be, and I don't want that. The angles of attack from that is essentially going to be these these direct angles here are going to be the main shots that these guys do. Milik will pivot a little bit, but Milik's going to be the main pivot between these two. If he needs to create space, that's kind of how it is. Essentially, I call it like a W, is your passing lanes are going to be essentially like a W in any kind of shape or form. Whereas if you switch it from the 3-4-3 into it's a 3-4-2-1, you're essentially having Yildiz and Charlie occupy the middle, where they're going to be offensive outlets in the middle, and Milik is going to pivot between those two, and then you essentially open up your wing with Cambiaso versus their wing back, McKennie versus their wing back. Because with the amount of skill players that you have in the middle of the pitch, Udinese has to compensate by trying to get more men in the bottom, essentially in the center of the pitch or in the center of the field. So when you run that, you force Udinese to be jam-packed in the middle, and Udinese sacrifice their lines.
Frankie's checking our bets already. We gotta wait till tomorrow.
Yeah, because we don't know who's playing.
Of course.
Dubia.
Yeah. So, but with Juve want to bounce back, I'm seeing some decent lines for Hungary Juve post-Inter. I don't know. I think it'll still be somewhat pragmatic. They're not just going to come out firing. We'll
see after the first 10 minutes, right?
We'll see if, like, Charlie, is he going to start even? We don't know that. We don't know that yet. There's a lot of questions, especially, this is why we typically don't do it 2 days before, so we won't dwell on this too much because it is a lot of speculation. And I want to open up the lines sooner than later. Okay. Don't want to listen to Dash no more.
Go ahead.
You ready?
I'm not stopping you.
Ready?
Cook.
All right.
Do your thing.
Getting ready for you. In the chat. Bam. There it is. Get in there. And let's the Euro draw.
You can talk about the Nations League draw. We can also talk about the whole contract scenarios for Chiesa and Dusan, apparently.
And there's blue cards.
The blue cards. Should we save that? No, we'll do that now instead of the tinfoil hat show.
It's not. Well, blue cards aren't really tinfoily, are they? It's a thing. It's a thing. It's a thing they're testing.
I was so heartbroken that literally came out the day after. But let me show this because I kind of want to explain this for some folks while we're waiting for people. So I have an image of that. Essentially, what they're saying that Inter should have been taking a goal away. So, look, the one thing I want to illustrate here, this is really, really shitty positioning by Patricio. Like when you're in the why are you marking Mancini? So for it to be considered offsides or offside obstruction, Acerbi needs to hit it near post. Then you can have the argument of the obstruction. That's where it happens because essentially Thuram is essentially preventing Rui Patricio from going to his right side. Then you would have the offside. However, because Acerbi hits it far left, Patricio is not obstructed in any shape or form because if you look at Thuram isn't grabbing him or hugging him or anything. So unfortunately, it's just bad placement for Patricio. It's very difficult. Like, for example, people were trying to use the Rabiot obstruction with Dusan against Bologna. Rabiot was standing in front. That's what they're trying to use. He was in front of the goalkeeper, he was in between the goalkeeper and Dusan when Dusan shot the shot. That's why they're trying to utilize obstruction for that one. But for this one's a little bit, unfortunately, as much as I hate Inter, I don't see an issue with this call.
My suggestion is if you're spending your Saturday afternoon trashing around Twitter, trying to pull conspiracies out of an Inter match, you need a hobby or a job. Either one. Because why are we focusing so much energy on what Inter did or did not do? Screw them. Let's just focus on what we're doing.
Yeah,
we have no control over the other shit.
It sucks, but we're gonna have to scoreboard watch for the next couple of weeks. It
sure.
is what it is, right?
Sure, but like we're trying to pull apart every little thing to like, oh, the refs are getting. No, the refs actually had another decent game, and let's be fair, the reffing association has tried to make improvements, and they've put the big, mostly unbiased refs in the big matches, and they've been doing okay the past couple weeks. There hasn't been like any huge controversy. Now we'll see if that continues. But like the game was called all right. There's always going to be mistakes here and there. There's going to be like 50-50s and whatnot.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I mean, let's just focus on us. Screw Winter.
Oh, Frankie got a new job. We got to shout him out.
What? Where?
Yeah, it's a couple comments down, but he says, yeah, it's a goal. The amount of coping that's happening on this is wild. Was just caught, the keeper was just caught with his pants down. German Dave says, I'm not that scared about Doosan's contract. It runs until 26. Enough time to make that work at some point. Skorpitsky saved it. He just dropped it because he's ass. It's still, that's what they kind of ruled on that one. Frankie says, I just got a new job. Working at a bar on the weekends now.
Working
Okay.
late.
Okay. Vlad says, I agree with Canadian Dave. David says, Byron in a worse place than us, and I am happy. Hey, guys, how many minutes did Dillet play today?
I didn't watch the game. How much was he on the whole time?
No.
Or not at all?
I don't think he made a cameo at all.
Well, because they lost. Because even if he was
got
on
clapped.
today,
They got clapped.
it would be fitting if he was playing today.
Yeah,
is what I'm saying.
unfortunately, it's because it sucks, right? But unfortunately, because Dillit didn't play, they would have lost 6-0. That's probably why. Oh my goodness,
Man.
that's funny.
And Vlad, weren't you supposed to join us? You said you were going to join us this week. You're
Gosh,
backing out?
how does it feel that Eric Dyer is starting over Matthäus Dillit at Bayern Munich? I think that's just comical at this point.
It's not going to help his sale, that's for sure.
Apparently, Dillit's injured again, so.
Whatever. Again, like we won't focus about all that other trash. So, all right, let's go off on blue cards. Screw it. Let's do it. Is there anything specific? Because again, I haven't really paid attention to the Twitter doom scrollers. But as far as I know, like we're just testing it out and things are kind of okay.
Being tested, I believe, in the FA Cup.
Yes.
It's going to be tested there. So essentially what it is if you do a cynical foul or show dissent towards a match official, you get a blue card, which is essentially you sit out for 10 minutes. So you're a hockey fan. So essentially you've got yourself a power play. You've been going on the power play here.
So now this is my thing. We're just stealing from hockey again. We're doing it with the offsides. Hopefully it's a thing. We've done a couple videos on offsides, so I mean, we've talked about it. If we want to go back, we'll talk about it again. But essentially,
I think I don't know. That's just funny.
I like to see it in practice. I like the fact that they're choosing a tournament. Like, I don't personally care about the FA Cup. I know there's some drunk Brits that care about it. Personally, whatever. Let them test it there. It's an important enough competition to get a good data set off of. Sure. Let's try it out. Now, is it specifically only for dissent towards the refs, or is it just like...
Dissent or a very cynical foul?
Yes, okay.
I don't know
that's
what
what
a cynical foul is defined as. Like, I don't have any idea what they're defining that as.
Exactly. So it's how they're going to implement it, like anything, right? So I'd have no problem with video review, how they've implemented VAR. I have some issues with, right? So that's going to be the big question. Does UEFA figure out how to implement it properly? What is a cynical foul? Because there's certain fouls out there that don't necessarily warrant a red card. But they're a hard yellow. You know when we discussed that's a hard yellow or that's kind of a soft red, that was borderline. That's where the blue card comes in. And if you're just kicking a guy out for I think they're gonna have to play with the amount of time and maybe there will be more of a tiered system like hockey where there's like a minor and a major and a double minor. So 2, 4, 5 minutes, 10-minute penalties. I don't know. But at the end of the day, it works perfectly for hockey, and they've been doing it for 100 plus years. So I see no issues.
I think it changes the way that the game is played, right? Like
It
for
will.
example,
Yeah.
maybe it's them trying to push the more offensive game, right? Because if you're down a man for 10 minutes,
Oh, that's
like,
part of it, definitely. Yeah, that's where
Yeah.
some of these rules are implemented, and every successful league looks to open up the game offensively.
and David brings up a good one here. So like with that instance with Chiellini on Saka in the Euro,
Yes.
that would
That's-
probably I think that I
That's
would
a
assume
perfect example.
I would assume they would pull him out for 10 minutes and
Yeah.
that would be it, right?
Because is it worth that 10-minute penalty now sitting out going into extra time? You have to make more of a decision there.
You do. It makes exactly like you really have to. It's going to change the way that the game gets looked at in a sense, right? And really, and ironically, I kind of wanted to say they wanted to do this because of England being petty about the Euro, but the sin bin trials.
Yeah.
That
And I
is
mean,
the-
hockey calls it the sin bin. It's,
Like-
again, they're just stealing from hockey.
What is so? What is a sin bin? I didn't know what that was. Like
The penalty box. It's just the sin bin. You had a sin on the ice, you go to the penalty box, the sin bin.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, he just like cut out mid. He's like, yeah, sin bin. So unfortunately, guys, Dave just got blue carded by StreamYard.
Yeah, I pressed the back button. I'm sorry. Yeah, in the box. 2-4 hooking.
That's pretty much a live demonstration of how that works. But that to me is just kind of interesting, right? Because like power plays are exciting. If anyone watches hockey, I think power plays are fun to watch because you totally change. I think though, like for example, this is something that I bet you a lot of like I want to call them the calcio hipsters that hate playing teams that do low blocks and shit like that. So like for example, I mean it might change the way that teams play defensively or offensively, but at the same time, I think you're gonna encourage more terrorist ball with this, right? Because all right, cool, sin bin, great, 10 minutes, all right, everybody sit back and hunker down. Like I think that would be the game plan that people would want to try to go towards. But like 'cause,
Perhaps.
like,
Or does the other team now say we have 10 minutes to push?
it's like it's honestly gonna I think it's really gonna be similar to a power play.
Yeah, and a very well drilled power play that can play a low block, a box down front of the net, and have like their point man covering essentially the whole blue line, right? They have that guy that can roam. They have that athleticism. They can essentially put 3 guys low and 1 guy pressuring up high, and you do see those teams that have like 97% power play percentages. Then you also see the guys that have like 82, and they let 1 in every 5th power play goal in, right? So
Yeah, because if we were to look at it from in theory, say that one other center, because that's the interesting thing too, right? Because you can't sub. So like he's just out. So then one of these guys would have to drop in, and then they would probably hunker down to this or something like this, and you would have 10 minutes of just essentially team lining up like this against you in a sense, where they're just focused in on just locking it down like that. I don't know how it would look in the end, but like you would have it like this, and then one team would just hold this entire area here while an entire team. I mean, I think it would be entertaining for 10 minutes.
it
Unless it's
has the
against you.
potential. Now, Yusuf's asking here, but don't you think almost all changes are affecting defenders from offside to VAR to blue cards? It's all aimed at poor defenders. It has rule changes across all sports have always fucked with the defenders. That's how you determine who the good ones are, the ones that adapt with the rule changes. Like with the way we defend now, like we talk about Chiellini, how he was a 90s defender. Well, what's a 90s defender? It's not how we're defending now, is it? It's a completely different era, different style. So why is it not okay to continue to move forward with that?
Well, and right now, how football currently is, right? Systems can protect really poor defenders, right? Like a lot of defenders can get covered by the
Look
offside
at every
rule.
shit team that low blocks.
It's like you think their defenders are like absolutely incredible, but in reality, it's not. I think
How did Juve only beat Udinese 1-0?
Diego Simeone essentially are like, Diego Simeone perfected shithouse ball. Roberto Di Matteo, Jose Mourinho, and Diego Simeone are essentially the masters of the shithouse ball. I think this is more acted towards that. And then remember the offside rule. It's actually still being tested.
Yeah,
It's
and
not going
I'm
to get
okay
implemented
with
this
them
season.
taking their time and spending a couple years testing it. Again, they're testing it. If the data comes out and said it does not work as advertised, cool, we tested it.
We tested it. It didn't work. We move on, right?
But if it revolutionizes the game, cool. What if it does? Let them test it in the FA Cup. What do I care?
Yeah,
Sure,
because like for
go.
example, with the with VAR, like VAR was being tested in a bunch of other moments, and they tested it, and then they decided to enact it on the actual thing. I think it took about like 2 years or so to get the full implementation of VAR. Right now, they're testing the additional time. So like the additional time or Fergie time
Yes,
is like
yes.
like the joke around. Because I think maybe it's just me being lucky, but like the past 3, 4 Premier League matches I've seen, there's been like 10, 11 minutes of extra added time. Where it's like with us, we still have 4 or 5 minutes of added time in Serie A. So I I, I think it's only a matter of time because let me tell you guys why, right? So remember the NFL for my American folks that are listening. The NFL used to be very, very defensive oriented, but in came Patrick Mahomes and etc. And the NFL has switched or shifted to this all offense, right? If you look at a quarterback funny, it's roughing the passer. If you look at a wide receiver funny, it's roughing, it's unnecessary roughness. So the NFL shifted into a more offensive catered league where now, like anything, if a defender even flicks a wide receiver, it's pass interference or holding. Same thing with the NBA, and my European friends with Luka Doncic can confirm this. Luka Doncic says that in Europe they play more aggressive defense than the NBA do because he said if European players came in to play at the NBA, they would all each drop 30, 40 points easily because they're used to going against good defenses. Where in the NBA, we're considering Draymond Green one of the better defenders in the NBA
Is
currently,
he
which
still
is
allowed to play?
I don't think he is, but but that's the point, right? Where it's like, for example, if you're an older cat where you've seen, the Dennis Rodmans or the Bad Boy Pistons or even Jordan, like you're losing teeth if you're trying to drive in the hole. Like,
But that was everything. The sports in the 80s, a bit into the 90s, and then all of a sudden things got soft. And for the better, we're talking about people, they're not just objects for our pure entertainment as much as we may view them that way, but we put protections in so people aren't ruining their lives playing a sport for a couple years. Like, I mean, football is one of the worst ones. The NFL, play a couple years and you're broken for the rest of your life. You made $500,000 and you're broken. You can't work anymore.
yeah, that's what we call it, the not for long league. Well, and I think football is going to start taking that pivot. I think they're going to start, and this is where, if I'm Syria, I'm a little bit concerned, right? Or low blocks are going to start being a thing of the past soon. Low blocks, or if this offside rule becomes a thing, and then if this blue card thing becomes a thing, you're essentially going to start seeing the destruction of Italy. Like, I'm dead serious. The way that Italy plays scout, like the way that
Yeah.
they play, it's
Unless
essentially
there's a new breed of management that comes up and it's like, no.
well, and this is what kind of irritates me because like it looks like football is being made to cater to the Premier League teams, not even La
Because
Liga.
it makes money though.
Yeah, it does make money, but like it's just frustrating for me because it's like England. There's no tactical geniuses in England. Like I'm saying, built from England, not people being imported into the country. Because, like, for example, why is it that you take an Italian coach, a guy that has some tactical insight, that knows how to organize and structure a team, they go over there and they do well? Antonio Conte won the league his first season. Claudio Ranieri went in there with Leicester City and won the damn title against Arsene Wenger, Pochettino, who's still there as a coach, even Guardiola. Same thing with Antonio Conte. So it's like, it's just, to me, it's just like, I don't know. I'm not a big fan of this offensive shift in the game because I still think that there's merit to defenses. I don't see. I don't know. For me, it's you're taking the fun. If you're trying to convert footy into what the Premier League is, you're essentially taking out all of the unique characteristics of playing in a different country. Because Germans have their own style, Italians have their own style, Spanish have their own
That's
style.
that's what you
Portuguese.
get when you have overarching governance, though. That's what UEFA is. You try
Yeah.
to make everything the same. You see that in world politics. They want to make everybody the same.
Yeah, and to touch on this comment, if we had the same social media talk and comments, we would be saying sports in the 80s and 90s had a lot of errors. Yeah,
Well,
no, for sure.
They did have sports radio. That's why we have a call-in show. Nobody's calling tonight. It's been a very slow week in general.
It's been a
Come
very
on,
slow week.
get back into it. But also in the 80s and 90s, they didn't have what we know today as the sports sciences or like these medical sciences where they can recover guys instantly. What they had was cocaine and light beer. And they would be smashing that on the sidelines. I shit you not.
Yeah, the
and
80s Bulls.
like and not even into the 2000s in the NFL, and I'm sure a lot of other sports, they were getting like cortisol shots right into their knees. It's probably still happening. So it's the sports were just in general all over the place, a lot more regulated or unregulated in that sense. But that's what made them intense. That's what made them psycho. That's why when you look at the old videos, there's a bunch of drunk dudes in the stands absolutely losing their shit. What do you have now?
I need more coke. David says 18-year-old Luka Doncic ripped the American NBA players apart because he used to get hand checked. Asked Maradona.
Yeah, Maradona got murdered every match, and probably got cortisol shots into his ankles.
So did Pat Mahomes in the last Super Bowl. So the one thing I want to talk about, well, if anyone wants to come in as well and talk, but I think the one thing we need to talk about is the new Serie A restructuring recommendations.
The 18 team.
And not even just that. There's more to it. They added a bunch of other things, and I'm trying to find all the bullet points, which I.
So right off the top, the two Milans and Juve are apparently on board for it. My assessment of that is the less teams, the more of the share there is for each that are left. And the ones at the top get more of that share, so it makes sense for them to knock people off.
Yeah, there's another thing too as well that there was like maybe IFTV probably has the better graphic for it. So I'm gonna see if I can pull it up and throw it on the screen so you guys can see. But there was a lot of stuff, a lot of things that were being recommended there through the restructuring process of it. But I had it. Unfortunately, I just can't find it because I had it on me right now.
Jeez. Weak. That's weak. What can I say?
Very weak. Because I have the Spalletti one where Spalletti wants to switch to a back three, which, everybody was like, no, 4-3-3, amazing culture. And then, it's not going to work out that way.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that. I'll knock off. You look at that. I'll knock off a couple points here. Sandro. He's ready to leave. His contract's up. Not so bad. But on Monday, he will reach 320 appearances, matching Trezeguet, and only 7 back from Nedved. So he would be ranked second in appearances for foreign Juve players. And, I mean, he's got to play 8 more matches, and he's tied first with Nedved. How wild is that?
Pretty wild. I'm sure people will be pissed about it, but it's pretty wild.
Yeah.
All right. So I've got it. So it is the Sun that has most of the details on it. So take it as you will. All right. So Juventus, AC Milan, and Inter are pushing to kick 2 clubs out of Serie A. They're trying to kick out peasants. I love how they finally put this. Proposal was initially put forward by Mr. Gravina and has received the backing of the Big Three. So 20 teams down to 18. Several clubs oppose this plan. Club bosses from them, blah, blah, blah. So the idea is they expanded in 2004, so they want to go back because they were following the Premier League. The potential is set to restructure this. Italy's Big Three teams, also the club's plan to form a super... What the hell? Oh, that. And they were killed when Juve backed down. So that's pretty much it. The other thing that they were saying that apparently Gravina and them want to implement VAR reviews, 2 reviews per coach. I don't know how credible that is.
Yeah, that would be... Again, hockey does that. All the North American sports, I think.
I don't understand how you can do that. Like, what does Allegri have a challenge flag?
I imagine it would be something like that. Yeah.
I don't. That
Like,
seems.
and while the way hockey does it is each period the coach can challenge, and if he loses the challenge, he has to put a player in the box for 2 minutes. He gets a minor penalty.
That's funny. Everybody's deleted it. Like, I can't find that post
It must
anymore.
have been a trash source then.
It has to be a trash source.
Yeah,
because
let's move on from it then.
yeah, because it was funny because here, let me just tell you what I heard. So I heard that obviously the team reductions, essentially 2 VAR challenges in match per coach, live VAR like audiozation, like audio vocals for it, and then that was it. And then I don't know. I'm surprised. Like I should have saved it, but it was.
Do better, Dash.
I know
We have to do better as well. We totally forgot. David gifted one more membership, and it goes to Chiro. So thank you so much once again. The man behind our new designs as well. We're going to be rolling out some new stuff as we go here. Okay, let's get back into the comments. LJJ doesn't want football to get more complicated. I think everything in the world's getting more complicated.
It's only a matter of time.
Yep. Dave likes 18 team structure, sharing the wealth, and you get more importance to each game. It increases the suspense, lessens injury risk. Scientifically, the Bundesliga, for example, has less injuries than all the other leagues with a 20-team structure. Yeah, but Germans are also machines. Troll in me wants Andrew to become a number 1. Yeah, why not? Why not? I wish we could have seen Angry Marino running down the line and throwing a red flag. Yeah. That would be good. We might still see that. It's possible. He's not dead. He can still coach. And there was some sort of playoff mode. I had heard that rumor too, but not even like this round. I had heard that previously, which I mean they're trying that with the Copa there. The super Copa, which I don't know. I guess we don't talk about it because nobody saw the game, which is kind of the point. Nobody watched it, right? So it makes me wonder. In a sense, if you're playing 4 less games, you can open up a bit of a playoff and make those games up. But overall, I think what we should be trying to achieve is less games overall because everything is pointing towards more games. And yes, the injuries. That is a huge one, is the injuries. And just sustainability. If you need like a 36-man roster, things become increasingly unsustainable. 2-hour games. Well, some games do reach 2 hours. Like the average is about an hour 45, an hour 50. It's not really that far off, yeah. But you get that like when VAR takes 5 minutes to make a decision. Those are the games that go 2 hours.
You just get more Fergie time.
Yeah. Playoffs is Beppe Marata's idea. They're basically every new idea I've heard today, they just stole from North American sports. Every single one of them. Nothing's original.
De Laurentiis wants it too. Like De Laurentiis was one of the guys that was advocating for it as well.
Oh, did
well, De Laurentiis has always wanted. De Laurentiis has always wanted a playoff because he's just like, well, because Napoli, blah blah blah. Like in reality, because Napoli can never really keep up. Besides last season, which was
you have to let them get in the mix a little bit more.
Yeah. See that to me just gets super complicated if you do a playoff, right? Because then the regular season is meaningless.
Yeah. So the leagues that do playoffs. Like actual leagues, I'm not talking tournament bracket. But those leagues have a very random schedule. And they're not doing a home and away. Where you play the teams equal amount of times. Depending, like NFL's a shorter season, so you don't get as much of a mix-up. You mostly play a team. But do you play every single team once in NFL?
No.
Not even.
So how the NFL structure works is you play your own division twice, so that's 6 games. Then you play one division, you play all the teams in one division, and then you play all the same placed teams that finished in respective divisions. So, like for example, each conference has 4 divisions. If you finished first in your division, you play all the other place teams in your conference, and then you play one American League or the other conference division. So you don't play all the teams. You don't. You play. I want to say you play roughly about 50% of the
And
teams
how
in
many
your
games
conference.
total is it?
There is 17.
17. And that's why it's only 17. When you look at the NBA, the NHL, there's 82 games. You basically play every game at least, every team at least once. However, the ones in your own division within your geographical area, you'll play like 6 times, let's say, right? So
Yeah.
that's why the playoffs work, because you don't have an even head-to-head matchup with every single team in the league. You have a splattering of it. So that's why I can't necessarily get behind a playoff
In footy,
for this style. Yeah, for this the
it's
way I have it set up
weird
here. Yeah.
because it's like, what do you do, right? Like, are you gonna do a one-off, or is it a best of 3? Like, how would that work?
Because
Or a 2-leg? Like,
yeah, because now let's say like top 4. You can if you're in the top 4, you can essentially still become champions through the playoff, right? So if you're going deep in the Champions League, you can let off in the league a little bit, focus on the Champions League, and then just come back into the playoffs, right? Like it changes that all around as well.
could you imagine if they did it to the first, like if they did 8 seeds for the playoffs?
And if they did 8
Could you
seeds,
imagine? I
oh
mean, you
man,
would get, as an entertainment factor, you would probably be a little bit more entertained because, like, for
no, because
example,
everyone would be injured, knackered, and look like crap.
well, I'm just saying, like, if you're looking at it from a storyline or a commercial perspective, Fiorentina going all the way to the final would definitely throw some people for a twist. But the reason why it doesn't make sense for Serie A for them to do a playoff is because you play everybody twice, and at the point, what else do you need to do?
And you still have those other tournaments that you're playing as well in it. Like that's the thing, that North American sports have a long season and then a playoffs. European football, or most of football, has your league matches and 1 or 2 tournament matches, or in England they have 3 extra tournament matches. You know, it doesn't end over there. But we have that knockout tournament style already. We don't need to like force. I feel like this one's forcing it.
I think so. Because it just, with the American sports, yes, you're playing 82 games, but, like, for example, you're not playing every single team the same amount of times. With hockey or in the NBA, you don't do that, right? It's you don't play every single team 4 or 5 times. You might play one team twice, the other team 3 or 4 other times. And with that, you have a best of 7 where essentially it's undisputed that you're better than them. Where it's like here, and it's the same thing with Serie A, right? Like, if I played Roma and I beat them twice, that means I'm better than them. I swept them. I took the series. Like, I took both games. So what's a third game going to do, right? If you just catch me on an off night, what, you won 1 out of the 2 or 1 out of the 3? So it's just, it seems very weird. Like, it just makes no sense. German Dave says, and you have a winner go home scenario, but that goes against the meaning of league competition for me. You may not have the best overall team win anymore, right?
Yeah, that's what the Copa is for. Is for that
That's what the Copa
bullshit.
is for.
Yes,
That is what the Copa is.
yeah.
Like, have your moment, because could you imagine, and think of this from a UEFA coefficient perspective. Say that Empoli just absolutely go on a tear and they somehow win Serie A. Could you imagine Empoli playing in the Champions League the next season? Could you imagine that?
And okay, let's put this 180 anyways. So let's take a North American sport that has an 80, 82, 84 game, whatever, 80 something game regular season, and then 4 rounds of playoffs, and decided to put a tournament in the middle of the season. It's called the NBA. Did anybody watch that tournament?
Oh, speaking of that, that was the other point. Serie A wants to make the Coppa Italia like the NBA in-season tournament.
Because like they're just all jerking each other off now. It's like, I want to be your sport. I want to be your sport.
I'm dead serious. Gravino was like, hey, the NBA in-season tournament seems like a fantastic idea.
It's
Let's
not.
do that.
Nobody cares. It's stupid.
Like, that would be... Could you imagine the entire month of, like, December just becomes dedicated to the Coppa Italia?
It's starting to get wild.
Like, that would be... I don't know. Like, how... I want to put that to the chat. Let's ask the chat. So if Gravino is able to restructure the Coppa Italia like the in-season tournament, would you guys be down for that? You would have essentially it'd be an entire month dedicated to the Coppa Italia.
Yeah.
Hey, let me copy your homework. Okay, so just change it a little.
Yeah, that's essentially what they're doing right now. It's
I
wild.
think it would be intriguing, wouldn't it?
It
Because
would, sure, it'd
you would
be
knock.
interesting.
Because, like, for example, think about it. If you did the Coppa Italia for the entire month of December, let's just say I obviously doubt that they pick December, right? But like, say that you do it, you've already essentially, like, if you're a team competing for domestic double, you've essentially locked up a trophy for that entire month.
Sure,
Then you
and
can
I
focus on
think
other competitions.
you get an influx of viewership in like an otherwise shitty time of the season, right? Because the middle of the season, a lot of people aren't watching. But at the beginning, people are excited. It's new. They watch. Things drag on. They don't pay attention. Then it's the last couple weeks. Like, oh, let's see what happened. So it's like they would throw it in them at like January, I guess, right? Would make sense. Like January, February, this time of year is like no viewership's down. Throw in a tournament.
I think so. Here's the one thing I would find intriguing. So for all of the Cinderella story folks, because like for example, if Empoli or if Salernitana or if Fiorentina or if one of those teams were to get hot and they got hot in the in-season tournament, I think from a storyline perspective, I think it could be found entertaining because like for example, Bologna, right? They upset Inter in the Coppa Italia and then they end up losing to Fiorentina like 3 or 4 weeks down the road. Like I feel like that kills momentum of upsets in the Coppa Italia. Because it's like, for example, Frosinone beats and absolutely spanks Napoli in the round of 16, and then they meet us and they absolutely get bent over by Milik.
Okay. At the end of the day, could we address the fact that we're just now talking about taking the Coppa Italia and just making it in the like 1 month instead of throughout the season? That's what we're doing. We're not talking about like in-season tournaments and having playoffs at the end of the season. Like
No.
that's just changing how we schedule.
No, because
Essentially, what you guys are talking about now.
one of the things that Gravina was pushing was essentially to make the Coppa Italia like the in-season tournament.
Okay, so that explains it, and that's nothing crazy.
I don't think that is.
No, that's
you're,
okay.
You're stopping Serie A and you're just playing the Coppa Italia for like X amount of days that they want to have
Yeah.
allocated to it. I think from like if you're looking at it, and this is me playing both scenarios here. If you're trying to look at an entertainment or shock value, I think it does that quite well. Because essentially it gives your Serie C, your Serie B, and your lower Serie A teams to connect momentum. Because like for example, if I play the round of 16 and then I upset a Napoli, an Inter, a Milan, or heaven forbid a Juve, I have to wait 2 or 3 weeks before I play the next round, the quarterfinals. Whereas instead, if they were to make every Copa game 3 to 4 days after each other, you're rolling right into it.
See, this is something I'm not entirely against with. I mean, try it out. If they want to say, hey, next year we're gonna try it this way, sure. See how it goes.
Because I think that's where you can get some shock value out of it. Is if that's the case, you can have these lesser teams per se that have the ability to get warm or to get hot, and they can carry off from it. I'm not saying it's the greatest thing in the world. I'm not saying it's the worst thing. I think it begs a little bit of a conversation. So let's see what you guys say in the chat. So we've got Bones saying here, I mean, it would only put load for a month, but then the players wouldn't have to worry about it anymore.
It wouldn't change anything really in terms of how many games you play.
You're still playing the same amount of matches. You're just having it dedicated to the Copa.
The difference would be if you get knocked out earlier, then you would not be doing anything for a couple weeks, which could screw your momentum as well.
You would have a bye. But still think of it though, because like for example, how it works is you have the Serie C, the Serie D, and all the other players or other teams play the first couple of opening rounds, and then your bigger heavyweights come in later. So in theory, if you're not in the top 8, I want to say the top 8 or top 10, you've got more games to play in the qualifying. But generally, I don't know. I think I could see the idea. I think we'd have to break it down and see how it looks logically because from what we're used to seeing us playing and starting in January isn't the actual Coppa Italia. The Coppa Italia starts in August, where you have preliminary and qualifying rounds and et cetera, and those guys go throughout the year per se. German Dave says it's like adding a sprint race for Formula One, creating more sessions to gain more viewers, advert money, more TV money because more TV coverage and everybody wants more money.
And I watch it, even
And
though I know
enjoy it.
that the actual people that have to do the job hate it. But it's entertaining. So that's why they do it. But it's bad for the sport overall.
Vlad says the purpose of the in-season tournament in the NBA was to make NBA players play hard, and in the first 2 months of the season because they weren't trying enough because the season is too long. And
No
also,
surprise, NBA players are lazy. Okay,
the NBA players nowadays are so damn soft.
yeah, they're soft as fuck.
It's an absolute joke.
I don't watch it at all anymore.
None of them
it's
trying for the
embarrassing.
playoffs. Like, it's funny because none of them try until it's the playoffs, and that's pretty much what it is. It's at this point, like, I miss the old school NBA where like players on opposing teams weren't buddies and hung out all the time, because nowadays it's just everybody in the NBA is friends with everybody, and
They
then
play
just kinda
Fortnite
like,
yet.
yeah, they play
after the
Fortnite
game.
and stream after the game instead of actually
Yeah.
competing. It's really stupid.
And Sal, you just missed this. We kind of rolled into the topic when you came in from the 18 team situation. And if you want to join, you are one of our regulars. Nobody's joining us. I'm getting kind of desperate. That's fine. I'll just continue down the news channel. Okay. Where should I start? Cheffrin's always good. So, I think we mentioned it on Wednesday's show how, he wanted to be Putin, essentially. Well, the next day, he basically stepped back. It's like, no, I'm not gonna run anymore. I'm gonna retire.
Yeah, because everyone was clowning him. Everybody was clowning him for it.
The whole world was clowning him for it. So good for life. Life prevailed this time. Common sense. Sule, Crystal Palace, Southampton. Ooh, they're looking for him.
Let the bidding war begin for
35 million is the starting bid.
I'm hoping there's going to be a bidding war on that, because that is going to be awesome.
You have Brendan Shea, Kyle George, valued about 16 and 11. So, Facundo Gonzalez, valued at 8 million. So, we talked, again, this came out Thursday after the Wednesday show, where we kind of spitballed about this a bit, what some of these players might be valued at. Now we start having some numbers. We start getting an idea of if, nothing's for sure, but if this player moves, what kind of income we perhaps have to work with. That being said, I read from one of the newspapers, can't remember which one, they're all trash, that we have like 60 million to work with in June.
Only 60?
I don't know, 60. I don't know. I don't know if that's...
Charlie's going to essentially occupy all of it.
That's still an interesting one. Yeah, we don't know if he's
I know,
staying.
right?
Okay, so another one that came out on Thursday. Elkin and Ferrero are among the suspects on tax evasion regarding the inheritance of the Agnelli family following the charge brought by Margarita, the daughter of Gianni and the mother of John, Lapo and Ginevra.
You got to share the article, because I got to see this.
Oh, this is just my notes.
Oh. You don't have the article? Come on. You don't have the article for it?
No, it's Tutto Juve. No, I just make notes. Okay, essentially, I'm just going to surmise it. We thought, oh no, tax evasion, what's going on? It's an inside job. It's coming from the mother. So don't worry, it's not UEFA, it's not Gravina. They're not coming after us anymore. Well, I shouldn't say anymore. I don't know that, but no, this is a family situation on this one. So we'll just simmer down on that.
That's funny.
Oh man, yeah, it's a little funny. It's a little funny. Kenan Yildiz.
We got to talk about him, and we also got to talk about Chiesa.
Yes.
So do you want to open with the Kenan Yildiz thing about what they want to give him? And I kind of want to ask some of the old dogs here how they feel about it. The number 10.
The number 10. I think this lines up very much perfectly with the imminent contract negotiations with Chiesa.
I think it's funny because they want to lock him down until 29 at 1 million a season.
He should not take that.
Like seriously, I saw the preliminary numbers. Kenan Yildiz 2029 at 1 million a season. Holy hell!
No,
But
no,
we'll give you the number 10.
there has to be an option to renegotiate like 26 or something.
That was hilarious because they're like, yeah, we'll give you the 10.
And well, they're playing on the emotions, right? Because he's a Del Piero fanboy.
I would be shocked if he takes it.
The 10 needs to be deserved.
You mean earned?
You can't argue that he is currently the most deserving, but if that meets the deserved requirement,
How much is he making currently?
is he on an entry level?
He's gotta be. He's gotta be an entry level because
this
a
up.
million. He's probably making like 200K or something.
250. I thought was the minimum.
It's gotta be 250. It's
His market value is still only at 10. That is
wow.
No, that's not correct.
I'm very curious to see where he's at
Does
financially.
transfer market say the yearly?
No, I think you got to look at it somewhere else.
Sofa? Is it Sofa?
Maybe Sofa has it. I think Sofa might have it. That's very interesting.
Now, what was that source? Because I didn't actually see that for 1 million.
Oh, I saw it on I think it was on Twitter. The Twatter.
What? I'm looking. If somebody knows what the best source is, I should know this, but
Yeah, we're kind of
lots of stats.
Kind of
Lots
off.
of stats.
Yeah, we're off script on this show, but that was one of the big things was they're saying that at 1 mil until 29, which I thought was a little bit kind of weird. It was maybe a little bit too cheap. I think it's on ItalianFootball.com.
Okay, so his current is till 27.
There we go. You got it.
Already got it. You got it?
I got it. Bam. That's how we work on the fly. Yildiz renewal. Juventus plan to entrust the youngster with the 10. La Gazzetta claimed that Juventus are working on the contract renewal and plan to entrust him with the number 10 shirt that Del Piero wore and has been handed to Pogba and Dybala. Now Yildiz is potentially to inherit the prestigious jersey. So let's see here. 18 years old, annual 3 goals, performance against Salernitana, Frosinone in the Coppa Italia, blah, blah, blah. All right, so negotiations for contract renewal set to be finalized at the end of the season to extend his stay until 29, with his current deal expiring to 27. Revised show his potential. They must have erased the numbers.
Another news source that's retracted. Okay.
Yeah, but
Premature.
I was seeing premature numbers at 1 million, which I thought was a little bit weird.
Yeah, that seems ridiculous.
How
Whoever
do you-
wrote that is nuts.
A little bit
Till
surprised.
29. That's nuts. Well, he just signed. He's good till 27. So we'll see.
I see it's a little bit of a reach by Juve if they're trying to throw the 10 at him.
Hey, if giving the kid a number can save him a few $1,000,000 a season, I say go for it. I don't care what the 10 signifies, but the 10 certainly isn't worth a couple $1,000,000.
No, I don't think so.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm a little bit perplexed with this.
Yeah, this article did originate from Gazzetta as well. So, I mean, it's a Gazette. It's a very Gazzetta heavy news day.
I have it pulled on Gazzetta, but they're like, oh, you need to accept and subscribe to Gazzetta so you can read this article.
See, this
Like,
is why I
there's
just
no
copy the
real-
sources.
Yeah,
this is why I just got so I don't have to deal with cookies and ads and
not
bullshit.
even cookies. It's so dumb.
Oh man! So let's flex back to Chiesa then.
So there's currently no agreement whatsoever, and it looks like there's an unwillingness to agree. So it looks like it's more likely looking like that Juve are going to cash in on
It's
Chiesa.
starting to look a lot like no matter your feelings, love him or hate him. From the business perspective, the tides are starting to go towards the sale from just what we're picking up from the news. So Reno might be upset. Again, I'm not saying whether he should or shouldn't. That's just where the wind's blowing.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it might be a reach of some of these reports here that they're saying with the whole yield is as the 10 and yada yada yada. I think it's just hype and bait clicks because like it makes no sense, right? There's no actual like really like I don't know. It's just a bit much when you're trying to thrust that on an 18-year-old. Bones is here.
Ellie, what's going
Hey,
on? I
what's going on?
what's up? And Ellie's asking when I changed the logo at 2 p.m.
The question is, do you like it?
Yes, that's the important question. Phones, do you like it?
The move of Chiesa?
No, the logo.
Oh, the logo. Oh, I kind of glimpsed at it, but I didn't really like take it in yet.
That's
Yeah,
what
you'll
she
take
saw.
it's a double D, so you'll take it in. Don't worry.
Oh, baby.
But sure, the key is a situation.
What do you want to
I
touch
mean-
on, Bones? Cook, buddy, cook.
Now I was gonna say, okay, we can start with first the number 10. I think it's too early, but if it like Dave said, if that keeps him here, fuck it.
Well, yeah. Like how
Like, here,
much
take
is
the
the number 10 worth?
If it saves us 10 million, it's like fucking $100 shirt. It saves us $1 million. Here, take the $100 shirt that has a 10 on it. But
Yeah.
I was gonna say Chiesa. I think it's time for it to move on. I mean I don't hate the guy, but like I haven't seen much else from him lately. He's missed a lot, especially supposed to be one of the guys you rely on a lot from. You know, I haven't seen a lot from him. You know.
We seem to have this conversation with different players every year as well. And once they finally leave, shouldn't say nobody, there's always the fangirls or what have you, like the Dybala stands and whatnot. But
We call them Dybala-sexuals.
Well, same thing with
Overall,
Dybala. I didn't hate Dybala. Like, don't get me wrong, but at least Dybala when he was there, he could show up out of nowhere, you know. But Chiesa, like, I just see him do the same thing over and over at this point.
Well,
To the
Dybala
where I
didn't
was
show
like-
up out of nowhere. He just showed up on games that didn't matter.
that's true, I guess. And he was injured when he.
But yes, there's parallels to it. I mean, Chiesa, you can argue, has had his moments, not as much as Dybala. Dybala, arguably, well, he has, I think, just by the pure numbers, has played more games for us.
Yeah. I mean, the one Dybala moment I remember is the Barca game. He did, I remember, place like 2 goals or so on Barca that moved us on.
Yes, and there were much bigger games. Like Chiesa has not been with us on a deep Champions League run. In fact, we just had our biggest embarrassment in the Champions League with him, or without him because he's injured. But you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, yeah. And if he doesn't want to stay, bro, I'm not going to force a player to stay. Like
Well,
you
that's
don't want
the
to be
other
here.
thing, the will. Yeah.
Yeah, if you don't want to be here, why keep him? It's like move on, and then we'll find someone else.
And that goes back to the Allegri thing either, right? Like, what does Allegri want? What does Chiesa want? What do any of these guys want? We're here saying this is what should happen, but what do these guys want?
Yeah, like you don't want to be here. Okay, cool. I don't hate you. Move on. We move on. We'll find someone. If not, we'll figure it out. It's I care more about the team than the player.
Yeah. But, I mean, that's because you're one of us. Because we're more intelligent around here than the other channels, I like to think. Not just the other channels, like at Twitter, just in general. The intelligent UA fans come here. Also the ones with the potty mouths and like a good dick joke. But there are studies out
Like
there that
the
say
dick.
people that like to swear a lot have a high level of intelligence. So it's just like those studies that say glass of wine is good for you. I'm rolling with it. Fuck you all means you're smart. Dash, did you read that one?
Yeah, I just was left speechless.
But that article came out a couple years ago. I figured that's like an engineering thing you guys would talk about.
Yeah, well, I mean, really, the main engineering thing the meme that everybody knows about is us keeping duct tape and WD-40 in our toolboxes, and we do.
You guys, engineers don't have toolboxes. All you have is a laptop with
Field
spreadsheets.
engineers. Field engineers. have
Well, you got
toolboxes.
a spreadsheet, an Excel spreadsheet.
There's two types. There's two types of engineers. There are the desk jockey types, and then there are the dashes of the world that actually go out and actually do stuff.
I was gonna say, working on cars. I don't have the biggest span. I don't have the best relationship with engineers.
Yeah,
Which
trust me.
engineers are the worst?
I know,
Like the
I know,
GM
I know. No,
engineers?
Engineers are some of the stupidest people I've ever seen in my life.
Toto. Who's Toto?
I don't know. It's a new person.
Sal.
Oh, it's Sal.
Oh, hey, Toto. Like the singer Toto, like Africa?
No, like Toto Schillaci.
Okay. Well, I really like the song Africa, so I'm a little disappointed.
Oh man.
Is this the WWE call-in show or what are we doing?
We can do whatever you want to do. It's whatever.
That is
Really-
the only chat that has been going in the Discord. Is
Dude,
that stupid
My
WWE.
mind is still melting from that Thursday press conference, man. The fact that The Rock was just like, "We're gonna have a problem." Like, I was like this. I was like, what? Heel Rock? Is that you? And that's pretty much my response the entire time. And I was like sitting there trying to type with Sal and Dave in the chat, and I'm like, I can't do this right now. I'm trying to watch this while I sit next to you guys. I'm like, it was a missed opportunity that we didn't do a watch along on that. We would have lost our minds on it.
I think we have a lot of watch-alongs in our
Oh,
meeting.
absolutely,
So,
absolutely.
since we're on that topic, now I know people have their ritual. Are we gonna set up a Super Bowl one tomorrow, or do you guys like just have your own routine that you do?
Wait, people are watching it tomorrow?
I don't even know anything about football, dude. I haven't watched the Super Bowls in years.
I haven't either. I don't really care personally, but if we're gonna hang,
I might catch the Usher halftime show. That's about it.
it's Usher. Right? I
You
didn't
mean
even know that.
Usher singing, but them panning to Taylor Swift instead?
All right, that's all
Oh,
I've
that's-
heard about the Super Bowl. I don't even know who's in it. I just know that Taylor Swift is.
Yeah, Taylor Swift's in it.
Taylor Swift
And
is
David's
playing
watching
too.
with family tomorrow, because he's gonna take shots every time Taylor Swift gets shown.
He's gonna get real drunk.
For real. Sal,
It feels like the Super Bowl presented by Taylor Swift.
pretty much. I'm surprised she's not doing the halftime show. But Sal, so one of the things about Kieza's, you have any thoughts on Kieza's contract renewal?
I mean, I think the thing that and again, like the thing that annoys me about the reports, right? Not so much Chiesa because you never really know, but the reports, the things that annoy me, and if they're true, is that he actually expects a salary increase, and I'm not quite sure why.
So that's a bit of a rumor too, and that's good that you mentioned that, because I also heard that he wants to be more in line with what Vlahovic is getting, and then I heard another rumor today that Vlahovic wants to get 12 million. All these sources are trash, of course, but if it's true, it's like what the fuck, bro?
That's
Seriously?
Yeah, I mean he is our most injury prone player this year. Obviously, you're gonna give him the benefit of the doubt for destroying his knee at the Olympico, right? So definitely not his fault. That's a pitch fault. But if he's still having and it's cool, right? Because Del Piero, when he had a similar injury, it took him about 2 years to like really regain his form. Right. So if that's the case, and you hope that's the case with Chiesa, then you're hoping maybe he pops off next year. Fair enough. But why are we going to pay you more for that?
Yeah, and
No?
if I was Chiesa, I would say, look, I'll take a 1 or 2 year deal on the same salary, and then we'll revisit this and see. Like, if he wants to, so like for example, if he's a true Juventino and wants to bet on himself, he would tell like his representatives, look, we'll do a 1 or 2 year extension on my current wage, and then if he's that confident that he'll pop off, he'll do that, and then essentially just restructure and get a higher deal later. Or a 4 or 5 year deal at the current with an option to negotiate after 2. Like
Yeah.
that I could see him do, but for the fact that he wants a base salary increase, and this is the same thing I have with Dusan as well, where it's like, bro, you popped off for 6 games and now you're sitting here arguing for a raise while Juve like what?
Yeah.
Like I understand, no, and this isn't me taking away from what Dusan's produced, but like if it's true that he's asking for a raise, that to me is just like, dude, no, absolutely not.
And I can't see, and I honestly would be shocked if June Philly's seriously considering increases for either of them.
Yeah,
I'd be shocked because it's really against the model, right? I mean, and if we want to believe some other sources, right, they're even saying, oh, hey, max extension, Max Allegri, not max extension on the contract, but Max Allegri for his extension, he isn't going to be making the same amount of money he's doing either. You know what I mean? So it's like, hey guys, like I'm sorry, but for Chiesa, especially for like a 1 or 2 year extension, you're basically just giving us back the time you were not available for the club while we were paying.
That's a good way of
Yeah.
looking at it.
Yeah.
So it's like, you know what I mean? And yeah, with Dusan, that one's weird because I believe his contract, right? Prodigy and all his wisdom, that salary I think goes up the longer he stays with the club. So I don't even really know what kind of recourse Juve has if Dusan just says no, you know?
Yeah, well, and that's the issue, right? Because his contract will bump his pay next season, and he's up until 26. And the reason why Juve are trying to negotiate it now is that they want the contract to be restructured so it's a little bit more friendly to the squad. But the fact Dave said earlier, German Dave was saying that look, they're not far off, though they're close, so there's some positives towards it, but that to me is concerning, especially when you have those two guys that are essentially supposed to be the leader of your franchise, essentially, and and it's kind of just petty stuff where it's like, Dusan and Chiesa need to take an honest look at it, and this is where I've always said about Dusan, right? I want to like him, but he makes it so damn difficult to like him.
Yeah, I'm with you there.
Like he makes it so damn difficult, and it's like, if you can sit there and be like, look, I didn't do well, I'm gonna do my thing, I'll give me 2 years to prove it, and then we'll revisit this or restructure it. Where it's just the other thing too, and to touch on these two comments that just came in. So, German Dave says you renew for a year, you stay this season, show me that you deserve a new deal, and then if we're in the same situations with injuries, I cut my losses. LJJ says Juve are not poor, but they don't have the money, and
So they're
also,
they're the middle class.
They also don't want to essentially incentivize poor habits, right?
Yeah.
Because, like, for example, it's a trickle-down effect. If Chiesa is not performing and still gets a pay raise, what do you think happens to McKennie, who's on schedule for a renewal?
Yeah, that's one thing I was gonna say. Is
Locatelli.
like, if anyone deserves a fucking raise, would be McKennie. Maybe
That
Brunner.
guy just fucking supersize that man.
yeah, maybe Cambiaso. Those guys have earned and shown me that they deserve a raise. The other guys haven't. And like, and I was thinking is like, if you want it so bad, how about you make it into like bonuses, maybe appearances and goals, and that's where you get your raise. But like, just going straight up, I need a raise without doing anything.
A lot of those contracts do have those bonuses as well.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. How about you put it there, like.
Yeah,
It'll be
they'll
like-
have to agree on that, of course, and that maybe that's the issue is they want the money for nothing.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying though. Like if you want it so bad, put it on your bonuses and show me that you earned it.
Yeah. Well, that's how I would do it, of course, but the ego of a 25-year-old Chiesa might say otherwise.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing too, 23 billion is their market cap for Juve. But like, for example, what was one of the biggest issues that we had, even with Marotta and Paratici and Arriva Bum A? You bought Federico, I said Fredde, but you bring in Bernardeschi back then at 40 million at like 5 million a season. Guy doesn't play that well. Absolutely atrocious. And then it's like, you can't move him because Lazio aren't going to pay that guy 5 million. Roma aren't going to pay that guy 5 million. Inter and Milan are like, what the hell? Like, we're not paying him that. And you were locked with Bernadeschi for 5 years at that
Yeah.
salary.
And now Toronto's locked with them.
Ramsey
So-
as well.
I think, and this is kind of smart market from Giuntoli as well. And this is what kind of surprises me about Dusan and Chiesa is, do those two not realize that there's a bunch of other younger players on cheaper deals that are nipping at their heels?
No, because they've been told their whole life that they're the best. So now
Because
they believe
that to me concerns whether or not those two players are technically Juventinos.
Yeah.
Like, think
You-
about it.
But how many people are, and that's an overarching question, is this younger generation, how attached they are to a club? Because a club back in the day was your community.
Yeah.
Now it's just, especially these bigger teams, they're so international. That's why we're fans, right? I have no connection with Turin, but here I am as a fan. So there's pros and cons, but that,
Yeah, I'm not even Italian.
yeah, exactly, right? So what is actually holding us to the shirt at the end of the day, right? So like, I'm a Juventino, but if Inter said, I'm going to give you $5 million to wear my jersey, I mean, I set up my family for life, and on the inside I'm like, I hate my life and I sold my soul. But
You mean like SMS?
so yeah, well that's the thing, right? That's the question. I mean, to pose to, if anybody right now, because I mean, I'm pretty sure if you had $5 million, you would be donating a lot more money to the channel. But if somebody just came up and gave you $5 million, you know, assuming you didn't have to do anything illegal or like completely, it's just like you are now your most hated team, right? So who are the Detroit Lions' biggest rival?
Yes.
Green Bay Packers?
The Packers. So it'd be like, Dash, you have to wear a Packers jersey. For me, I'd have to wear like a Montreal Canadiens jersey. You know, and it's just like, here's $5 million. Everyone in this room's doing it.
Oh, absolutely.
So you're gonna tell me that Chiesa's not gonna do it? Flappage isn't gonna do it? You give them enough money, they're gonna do it.
Yeah. And that's a problem. But also, but like, in my opinion, it's like, at what point is like, does the money not make a difference anymore? Like, I think of it that way. It's like, you make enough money regardless. It's like,
But
the
we've
sport
never
for-
had that much money to know what
Ye-
enough money is.
Yeah,
We don't have that
yeah.
reference point. So it's almost like
That's true,
futile
that's
for
true.
us peasants to talk about that. Interesting discussion it could be, but it is futile.
Roma's about to be owned by the Saudi.
Yes, that came up for
wait,
what was it? How many billion was it?
Almost 900 million to about $1 billion. That's going to
Is
be
that all?
interesting because
Jeez.
by current bylaws, Roma cannot compete in the Champions League if Newcastle's in the Champions League. So that means people are saying that they're concerned that the Saudis aren't going to invest that much and turn Roma into a feeder club for Newcastle.
My thing, going back to what we're talking about, I was gonna say, if anything, if they move on, we still got Sule who can come back. Like Sule's doing great, and we got Yildiz, who can still fill that spot. And there's still plenty of players we got that I believe can still take that spot and do just as well.
So this is like what Vlad's saying here. This is why I'm a little bit perplexed about what I heard, right? And it's ironic because my dad also told me about this too. And my dad never really tells me about news sources unless he knows that they're pretty decent. I'm a little bit confused with where this Dusan wanting more than 12 million is coming from. Because it doesn't make sense, right? If he refused to leave, or why would he want a pay raise? He could have just left.
I didn't even see that news source. I think somebody just mentioned it in the Discord today.
It's a little bit like, for example, I've seen it like some of the Balkan talk shows because I was watching a little bit at the restaurant where I heard it being mentioned. So I don't know. I mean, it's a little bit Balkan hearsay right now, but that's one of the things why I was trying to think to myself, and Vlad brings this point up perfectly, right? If the dude wanted a pay raise, he could have just went Arsenal, right? He could have gone
Yeah.
Arsenal.
Yeah.
Easy. They would have paid him that. So I don't know. Like,
Apparently,
that
he can
team
go
just-
to Man City right now too. Or
Yeah,
Holland.
I
Yeah,
keep seeing
it's
rumors
either
about
one.
that. Him to Man City.
But think about it, guys. Like, I don't understand it. If you want, like, I don't want to leave, but I want to raise. Like, how does that work?
It doesn't. But you know what? I have to close the chicken coop, so I'll be right back.
He left his cocks. So
He just has
sound.
them roaming out there for
Yeah,
the
it's
world
just
to
got
see.
Roman cocks, everybody. Uh, clue. So I kind of want to talk to you guys about this because I find this very ironic. So Luciano Spalletti wants to change Italy from a back four and bury the 4-3-3 to a 3-5-2. I find this is poetic justice because everybody that was losing their goddamn minds about I don't want Conte, I want Spalletti. Spalletti's amazing. Spalletti plays hipster football. Hipster football is love. Hipster football is life. And Spalletti says, no hipster football for you.
You know the interesting thing I saw that he was changing the formation, and I think I put it in the Discord and I compared it with the rumors of what Max is going to do. I think what at least IFTV reported that Spalletti was thinking of doing 3-4-2-1.
Yeah.
And he was going to slot Chiesa basically where Chiesa would be slotted with the formation that Max is thinking about, which is the same thing, a 3-4-2-1.
I just you know me, right? I've just been dealing with everybody telling me that Chiesa's a winger, Chiesa needs to play on the left wing, all of this and that. And Allegri's like, nah, I think he's better behind the striker. And Spalletti's like, oh shit, that's actually a great freaking idea.
And that's exactly what Spalletti said, right? He said he's thinking of doing it because he goes, currently they don't have enough wingers.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, because they were also talking about slotting Zaniolo behind the striker, but he was playing him as a winger. So, yeah, a little strange there, you know?
I just, hey, look at that.
And honestly, I think it will benefit the defense more than it will the offense, honestly, by doing that. Because they just don't have the personnel for a back four, I'm sorry.
No, they don't. No, they don't.
Quality for it. They have guys who are technically right backs and left backs. They're just not good at it. So
like it is for sure because like right now, and we're all gonna hate saying this, but the reason why they're doing it is because they want to cater to Acerbi, Bastone, and DeMarco and Darmian, right? Because unfortunately, they are your main guys for the Italian national team, which is why Italy's going to lose to Albania first game because that's what happens when you have Inter as a backbone. I had to throw that jab there just to be an ass, but he's not wrong, right? You don't have wingers. Like you have Chiesa, and then who's after Chiesa on the left?
El Shaarawy.
Moise Keane.
Yeah, El Shaarawy, Moise Keane. On the right, you have Berardi, and then
Lord Bernardeschi.
Bernardeschi. Like seriously though, like think about it, right? Like
Politano,
for them,
right?
Politano, I think Zaccagni, I think too. But like that's not
No,
striking fear into the hearts of their European challengers.
Nobody on the front strikes fears. Nobody in our attack strikes fears.
No,
You mean Lord Berna doesn't strike fear?
no.
If you got to have PKs, sure.
Yeah, if you need, just sign him on the roster just to take PKs. But like I understand, like for example, I understand why he would do a 3-4-2-1 because, like for example, you could have Chiesa and then you could have Pellegrini play because then your midfield trio would be, it would be your double pivot would be Barella and then I don't think Verratti's going to play this Euro. I doubt it's going to be Verratti, but like a Cristante or whoever Spalletti wants to throw in there. And then you would have Pellegrini be your offensive attacking midfielder next to Chiesa behind Scamacca or whoever, Retegui or whatever they uses. Do they even have a strike? Is Immobile even going to play? Like, is he their striker still?
I don't think Spalletti likes him, so he hasn't been getting any call ups.
Mom Spalletti, who we talking about?
Our buddy Immobile.
Cheerio.
Yeah. Yeah, Spalletti hasn't liked him, but you know what? I mean, the problem is too, like Spalletti hasn't liked him, right? He's got a real conundrum. So he's
Split.
basically kind of froze him out of the squad.
Yep.
He wants to play Moist, but Moist can't stay healthy or get any playing time.
I love this first Keen in the booth.
Yeah, he called out Skamaka for being lazy, right? Basically saying he's not running enough. So he tries Raspadori because he's a Napoli guy, and Raspadori sucks, especially as a center center forward. So yeah, I don't know. Yeah, we're fucked.
It only needs to play a 4-6-0. It would probably work out.
Now,
Yeah,
you want
I think Redigui is actually for me. If I was Spalletti, like that's my main focal point for attack.
they need to play Venezuela. That'll solve all their problems.
Yeah.
Israel. We got Israel.
Right. So, because right now I'm thinking if they do the 3-4, the 3-4-2-1, I think your midfield 2 is going to be Barella and Jorginho, and then it would be an alternation. Like your striker is going to be Scamacca, Keane, or whoever.
Oh, 4-6-0. You got Fratesi, Barella, Jorginho, Verratti, Locatelli. I need one more.
You know, ironically, this Italy is like the same as the Spain team from like 2012 to like 2016.
Yeah,
Like they have a fuck ton of midfielders, no strikers.
Yeah. Well,
No,
they really
no
need to start
disrespect to
developing players.
They're going to Florida and New Jersey to hope that they can find themselves the next striker of Italy.
Another one. We don't have Hefe tonight either. Slow week, guys. Come on. Yes,
but
so
you
you
know
get
what?
you
New
get name
Jersey-
checked.
New Jersey is hosting the World Cup final, guys.
Yeah.
The final?
Yeah,
They-
MetLife.
Jeez.
MetLife
Wow.
at the final, and many people don't know that East Rutherford is not New York; it's New Jersey. So
I know.
Easier to
That's really
get to,
funny.
I guess, if I'm flying in. I might go for that. Like I put my name in for the tickets. New York's doable for me. I might do it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's 4 hours to Toronto. What's another couple hours just going to New
How,
York?
mu- how many grand are you gonna drop on that? Like 5, 6?
We have a plan.
Okay. Dave is gonna
Rob
start
the
cooking meth.
This plan has been set in motion a couple years previous.
So just to,
it's
because
good.
David brings up how many Achilles are torn. So I wanted to mention this. All the World Cup stadiums in the United States, their natural turf is being taken out, or their turf is being replaced with grass.
How about the Canadian ones?
I was going to say that, but I forgot. I was like, at what point do we start charging the Olympico for every injured player?
Yeah, no, I think because they've got Dallas, they've got SoFi, and they've got Jersey, and then I want to say Atlanta. All of those are replaced. So one of the requirements for it was that they replace their turf for natural grass during the tournament. Because, like for example, I didn't know this, but I think this is hearsay. I'm not too sure, but Lionel Messi and the MLS will not play on a field that has turf on it.
No,
Like, in his
that is a
contract.
thing. That was
Like,
the
that's in
thing.
his contract. Like he will not play away games that have turf.
So he was supposed to go to Charlotte last season, and they were on turf. And Charlotte was like, "No, we're not changing our field for Messi. Screw that." And then Messi just so happened to be injured that game. It's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, I think they're going to be changing. I mean, I'm not saying that it's like different or going to save the day, right? But it's like that's why the NFL players got pissed off because they're like, you guys are changing it for the World Cup, but you're not changing it for us, because like 92% of the NFL players in the PA voted for the removal of turf fields. But like, for example, when the World Cup stuff got dropped, that all the teams or the buildings responsible are switching to natural grass, all the NFL players got pissed off because they're like, oh, you're doing it for the World Cup, but you're not doing it for us.
the I will say this, the damn it, I lost my train of thought. Oh yeah, so I don't know about other federations, but I know FIGC, if your player gets hurt either during training, I think, or during a game while they're basically in service to the national team has to reimburse the Serie A club. I don't know how it is with other ones. So, yeah, if anybody gets jacked, so any Juve player gets jacked playing on a turf, at least we'll get some reimbursement for it.
I don't know if we're gonna have any UV players playing.
Maybe no Italian Juve players. I know
Yeah,
Wes is going to be balling. Wes is
Yeah.
definitely starting for the U.S. national team.
Yeah.
Hopefully, too.
Yeah, I'm
That's true.
I'm gonna step out. I'm gonna listen to y'all, but I gotta go.
All right, thanks, Bones. Appreciate
Yeah.
it. Have a good night.
Yeah, this makes it very interesting to see because like it's funny, right? Because it's just like everybody was not wanting Conte to take the Italian job because of the 3-5-2, and then it's just like they're at the 3-5-2 now, like they're going to it in a sense. So it's just like seriously, like everybody was up in arms.
I think that's probably Conte's most impressive managerial accomplishment was taking that team to the quarterfinals of the Euros and only losing to Germany in PKs.
I know.
I actually saw that team. I was in France for that game against Belgium, against Lyon, and then I saw them, I think, play Sweden. Yeah, because Zlatan was on the team in Toulouse. And that team is not good.
Yeah, if they
what he did with that squad, knocking out Spain, too, in the round of 16, that Spain team.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Gotta say.
The other thing too, if he beat Germany, I think they would have won all the way.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so as well. I mean, and Germany needed the PKs. Like that was they finally broke their national, side voodoo against Italy in that game.
Remember when both those teams were good?
Yeah, I do.
We got to thank Zaza. Like Germany needs to make a statue of Zaza because of that PK. like that. Because I think Italy would have beat France. I think they would have, because that's who they would have played after. And then, with all due respect to Ronnie, I don't think Ronnie's getting past Italy in that final. I think Portugal would have lost.
Yeah, I mean, it was shocking. They even can I say one thing? I never met Belgium until 2016. When I was in Lyon a couple of days before, there was like 98% Belgian supporters and like 2% Italian. And they're the nicest people I ever met, right? Nice, but God, were they so confident. Oh, they were so confident. And then we just smashed them.
That was another team that was good at one point, too.
That was golden generation. They were all in their prime. Lukaku, De Bruyne, 2016, like, that was it. Like,
yeah, Hazard.
Dude, it was a stacked team. And they got played off the pitch.
You know, the best part about it is I think
Pele, guys. Grazie Pele.
And what is it? The Brazilian Adair that was playing as a striker
the Brazilian Adair. Yep.
Oh my god. Oh wow.
You had Chiellini, you had Bonucci, you had Buffon, right?
Yeah.
I think the game plan for that Conte was like, okay, Chiellini, Buffon, Barzagli, just boot the ball, boot it to Pele. Whatever happens. Just fuck it and boot it. Like that was pretty much it.
That's exactly what they did.
Oh my goodness, that was pretty much it. Sit back, boot it, Pele. Just you're tall as shit. Just head it to someone and then score.
I think De Rossi was still in the midfield of that team.
Yes, I think he was.
So yeah, you had some. I mean, strikers sucked, but they scored enough.
You had Montolivo. You had Bonaventura.
You had Giaccherini.
Yep. That was a blue collar Italy.
Oh man.
The only world class players were in defense.
Yeah.
That was it.
Defenses win championships.
And that's why they got as far as they did.
And that's why they won in 2021.
And now we're fucked.
Yeah.
Zaza, yeah. Zaza got a
you know what, though?
Scudetto, like
But you
it's
know what,
insane.
though? Zaza, as a Juventino, that goal he scored against Napoli that year when Napoli was chasing us, like, what a goal.
That was a great goal.
But it just shows, right? We don't need these high baller like Chiesa, I want more money. No, like we'll go blue collar.
I think
Juve
Juve
Especially
was.
if you're not playing.
Yeah.
It's like, come on.
I think Juve have always been their best when their blue collar
Oh.
players have been their main players.
Breaking news. from Forbes. According to La Repubblica, a two-way bidding war is taking place between the Saudi Sovereign Investment Fund and Saudi private investor Turkey Al-Sheikh for the purchase of Italian soccer club AS Roma. Just weeks after the sacking of Jose Mourinho, Roma's American owner, the Friedkin Group, is considering a mega offer that includes a change of outright ownership, sponsorships, and the funding of a new stadium, with the report stating that at least one offer around 1.1 billion has been tabled.
Yeah, that's where 300 million is being dedicated to the stadium, essentially out of that 1.1.
And that stadium sucks. Have you guys ever been to a game at the Olympico?
I am happy I haven't.
It is as bad as it looks on TV. I was at the opening game with Italy and Turkey for the last Euros, and it was god awful.
It did look pretty cool today, though, the stadium with the curva and whatnot. It does look cool in that regard.
Yeah, but those track the track.
Yeah, the track is.
It's terrible.
Well, because I went to Empoli this year, right? Like I know what a shitty stadium looks like.
Yeah, but you were saying it earlier, Dash. Like they really need to figure out this thing with ownership groups across multiple leagues.
Yeah,
because it's like. How are you going to do that with that conflict of interest? And I can't see Roma ownership wanting to or even Saudis wanting to do that, knowing that every fourth or fifth year when Roma makes, fourth place, that they're going to be in the Champions League, that they can't do it.
That's so funny. Every fourth or fifth year. Oh man! Well, yeah, at that point, one of them they're going to have to pick, right? It's going to be either Roma or Newcastle that becomes the feeder team. I mean, Man City's running the same issue with that Spanish team that they own in La Liga.
Yeah, was it Girona?
Girona, yeah.
Who's going to make Champions League this
year? They're going to.
I think they're just going to eventually just strong arm, be like, we just own a team in every league, so just fuck you, we're doing it. Stop us.
Yeah,
we're giving you so much money.
They're 11 points ahead of fifth in Spain. They're 11 points ahead. And they're 5 points away from Real Madrid. I think Real Madrid is running away with the title this season, so it's not, I don't think that's a shocker there. But
Barcelona's been doing a little better, which the only reason I care is because I want him in good form to knock out Napoli.
That's all we want, right?
That's all I want. I'm a huge Barcelona supporter up until then.
So
not liking them.
let me throw this with you. Lazio beating Bayern Munich.
Yeah, no, I can't. I can't see.
I don't know. Maybe if they play DeLitt, there's a chance.
The way Bayern's been playing, you never know.
That's why.
Sarri hates. He doesn't think European football should exist, right?
Yeah.
He thinks you should only play in the league, and that's it. Once a week, anything else is not real football.
Because he's provincial.
Yeah, I mean, mentally, Lazio's catching them probably at an opportune time as they can hope, right?
Yeah.
But there's Bayern in the league, and then there's Bayern in the UCL.
There's also just Lazio in the UCL.
Yeah, and then there's right. Which usually, again, that's like one out of every 6-7 years. You know what I mean? So it's
Lazio's that one guy in the meme where like, hey man, what you doing? Who, me? Yeah, you.
He's like, you guys
just hanging around.
Yeah, I mean, Tuchel will get fired if he does not get past Lazio. Like,
I don't understand how Tuchel has a job.
Honestly, they just don't have. Who are they going to bring?
Exactly. They're in the carousel.
It goes back to our old, arguments about, well, if Max goes, then who? Right? There's only so many.
Oh, but no,
There's only
Sorry, that's always the argument. But,
just bring in whoever,
I know, right? Just bring in whoever. They'll run and win a Scudetto. It's just Max sucks.
Yeah, people were saying, oh, but Tuchel's a good, Tuchel's like a Max-like kind of coach. So, let's bring Tuchel to freaking, let's bring Tuchel to Juve. It's like, well, look. And it's actually sadder for Bayern, right, to not always be looking to win because there is Bayern and then everybody else.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, they're at the end
oh,
of their cycle too. They gotta be. It's been going so long.
as much as we hate Inter, right? Inter's won a shit ton more league titles than Borussia Dortmund has. So,
Yeah.
you know,
Well, completely different league though too.
right? Because it's a weird because it's honestly it's a farmers league. If you're gonna say PSG, right, is and then everybody else, like, how are you gonna say anything different about the Bundesliga?
Well, the past 10 years, absolutely.
Yeah,
I would say even the past 20.
Yeah, I mean, keep
Because,
on going.
like, for
It's
example,
insane.
Bayern would always be up there, but then you'd have like a Wolfsburg, Leverkusen, Dortmund, Mönchengladbach.
Mönchengladbach.
yeah.
Oh, man. I'm like sitting there just blah.
That's why everybody's loving Xavi right now, right? Because it's like everybody who's not a Bayern Munich fan wants to see them lose so they can laugh at them. You know?
Yeah. It's true, but like it's one of I can't it's just same thing like for example today, right? Or like the whole De Rossi ball up until halftime. And I'm just like, can I just have 5 minutes without somebody overhyping a coach for no reason whatsoever?
Dash, you said you were busy today. How are you cooking food, watching the game,
I have
going
a
on
40
X?
I have a 40-inch TV mounted in my kitchen.
Listen, if we're gonna start measuring sizes,
I'm dead serious. No, I do. Like I actually have, like, for example, I have the grill right in front of me right here, and then I have my charboil over there, and then my fryers and my saute oven over there, and then like right there, I have a it's like a recessed ceiling, but then there's like the top ceiling and then the recessed ceiling. Slapped a 40-inch TV right there, so as I'm working, I can see that. And I made the mistake of looking at my phone during halftime, and I just saw IFTV tweet De Rossi ball. I saw other people saying Allegri's a coward. Look at De Rossi being so damn aggressive.
you
Look
know
at this. And then,
he's always telling me how busy he is, and the truth comes out.
I did
Yeah.
those few things I
When
want.
Inter's playing, right, you got to keep an eye on it.
You got to.
You know, unfortunately. But yeah, it's just like, I mean, look, and can I at least say for everybody, who was like, hey, maybe Lukaku. This is the kind of game, and myself included, where I'm like, fuck. When he's playing a big team in a big game, look what he's doing.
That was
Me too, Dash. Me too. I'm not playing holier than thou, by the way. I am not.
I was like sitting there. It's just like I felt like Homer going into.
You just wake up and then your heart is just pumping. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah, so those moments are crazy.
Bro was pumping boom 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 into the grass when he tripped over the grass.
He was getting nice crosses fed to him. Spinazzola hit him with a cross. That was almost perfect.
Dude, he missed an open header. He missed an open header. I'm like, dude. You should have had a brace. That's how bad that was. Like I've laughed at Doosan like fuck ups, but that's even worse. I was
Jeez.
like, that was so bad.
Yeah. It's
God.
made me think like, okay, now I remember why initially I was like, no,
Yeah, I mean he does have those moments, and he definitely had those moments today.
In big games, he has those moments. In big games, and it's just like, I mean, I hate it, bro. I hate that Inter's so good. I hate it.
I know. They cut him into butter. Like they figured out like, oh, Roma does this. This is how they counterattack at halftime. And then De Rossi's like, I'm not changing a single thing. And Inter's like, okay, all right. And they sliced through them. It was like hot butter. It honestly was. Like the way that they cut through them that second half, I was just like, I'm like sitting here. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, coach, call a timeout. Make a change. Coach.
Like that Rocky scene. Throw the damn towel.
Throw the damn towel.
But yeah, I mean, it's and look, like it was really hard to see Juve be devoid of ideas against Inter, but Inter didn't score any goals on us. You know?
No,
Didn't
Gatti, our
Yeah.
double-edged sword.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
it's just
sorry, Frankie. But yeah, but that's what Inter did not. Inter played us twice this year. They scored 1 goal against us.
Yeah, I mean, it's like we said, it wasn't a capitulation as people had made it out to be. It was a tough loss, but it wasn't tragic.
Yeah.
yeah, and like Misak also said it in the Discord too. He's like, dude, the only way that you can approach this Inter team is by shithouse balling them. He's like, that's the only way. If you don't, you get cut up. You
Yeah,
honestly
well,
do.
Roma. Yeah,
So, like for example, the main challenge for Inter in this Champions League is playing against Atletico Madrid, because Atletico Madrid are the masters of the shithouse ball.
that's you know what, tactically, that's going to be a very interesting matchup.
So, in my opinion, and people might hate me for this, but if Inter get through Atletico Madrid, the only team that can stop them is probably Real. That's it.
Oh, for sure, Real probably dummy them.
Who
but
else? Who else is in that bracket that can stop them? Maybe Man City, possibly, but
Yeah,
I don't know.
You could.
Like it's just Real and Man City, and that's
Well,
how
who else is
frightening
in
it
the
is for them.
bracket? I don't have the bracket. In my
Nobody
head.
significant. That's who else is in there.
Jesus.
You know Alvaro's going to be up to want to score against them.
Yes.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, yeah. And I will love it if he does.
Oh,
He has a great record against them too.
yeah. We all will. We are all Atletico Madrid. That's the thing. We're Atletico Madrid and Barcelona this go around, man. You know,
Yeah.
big La Liga guys.
Love
Yeah,
La Liga.
absolutely.
La Liga, La Liga's it's a fun league. It has a lot of its own drama too.
So LJJ says it looks like if you're talking about the one that I think it wasn't because Roma hit it in their own net in a sense, even though it kind of looked like a handball, but it didn't. He just mistimed the run, and like I said, those two Thuram actions. I've always said this, and I think was it on Dean or was it on someone else? But as a center back, never let the striker that you're marking get in front of you in the box.
Gatti.
Never let that happen, especially a big beastly dude like Thuram, where all you got to do is just ping. You could rip the ball as hard as you want at Thuram, and he'll still find a way to put it in the net.
And what a pickup too. Like if they didn't get Thuram, if they didn't land that.
What a signing. What a signing.
I know.
What a sign. I mean, hopefully we get our own Thuram, but
Okay, could we stop waffling over Inter? What the fuck?
Look, hey man, they're good. You just tip your cat to them. Like if I were to sit here and be like,
Tip my cat?
you want to tip your cat, Joel?
I'm pretty sure I heard cat.
Cap.
Cap. Because it's supposed to be hat. Tip your hat. So it's okay. Sure.
I see what you're doing. I see what you're doing. Totally hysterical. You got me.
No, okay, go on.
I look at the end of the day, like it's just I don't want to be that guy and just sit there and be like, yeah, your referees, you're not really that guys. They really are that good. Some of their 1-2 passes were fucking ridiculous. Like they were. Like I have fucking Bastoni making a run from coast to coast and then finishing it in the bottom corner.
There's a hockey term.
But guys, have you not seen how freaking awkward Bastoni is when he runs?
Is this an awkward dude in general?
He's like a fucking ostrich. Like even that goal that he scored, it was just like Sanchez was about to hit it, and Sanchez, oh shit, okay, move, watch out. Like that team is something else, man. The only thing we can do is just keep up at this point.
Okay, so I have one last point, and this is going to get us away from Inter, far away from Inter. It's going to move us back towards Udinese, and this can be a finishing point. This is another Gazette article, but everything is tonight. Samardic is on the radar of Juventus. On Monday, the managers will have the opportunity to watch him again live. And other big players, because being born in 2002, he seems like a player from the past, growing up, challenging his friends on the street. On Monday, his agent/father will be in turn to follow the game and could be the right opportunity to talk about his future. The first name in the minds of the Bianconeri remains Coop Miners from Atalanta. But there could be two signings in midfield in July.
It's an interesting article because it's Udinese kind of being like non-demanding, non-confrontational, right? every time that they were speaking initially when these rumors were popping off, it was like he's not for sale or so on and so forth. Or they were pissed at Juve for Giuntoli basically going, circumventing them and like negotiating directly with his dad. And now all of a sudden the tone's kind of changed a little bit. So maybe they're willing to play ball a little bit on that transfer fee. So I'm taking that as a positive.
Well, he's gonna have to move this summer. Like he's not gonna stay at Udinese. He's got to go somewhere. So I think he's yanked everyone's chain. So I don't know who's made a deal, if anybody's made a deal. We know the ones that have fallen through. We don't necessarily know what Juve has actually put on the table with them. So things behind the scenes. But regardless, like this kid's got to go somewhere. It's just a matter of where. And if Juve is going to spend the money for him, if it's who they really want. Like, to me, it seems like for sure Koopmeier. But then there's still Charlie. Like, do we know for sure we're just gonna spend the $4 million on the loan and then go all in 45 million for Koopmeiners? And then what? Then we go for Samardich? What if Samardich is already signed for Inter or Napoli? He's tired of waiting. Who knows? Like, this is obviously a Gazette article, so they pose more questions than they answer, I think is what I'm
Sounds
getting
like
at.
the press conference on Thursday.
Where I'm just like waffling, saying nothing. That's basically where I am right now. This is like, I threw up all over this. I just had, like, my brain just threw up all over this whole thing. There's just too many questions.
Let's see what German Dave says. German Dave says, I can't lie. If we pay for Koopmeiners, we can't get anyone else. And if we get Samardich, we can't afford a 40 million player as well. So it's either Coop or a cheaper guy to fill the other roles.
Or we sell a bunch of those youngsters.
Yeah. If those 4 million fees win you the Scudetto, it paid off already. That's if we somehow come
And
back.
if it doesn't...
If it doesn't, then you sell Ranocchia or some random player that we sold that was
Yeah,
like
I
4
think,
million.
yeah. But those are the low fee guys.
Yeah.
It's whether we're selling a Sule or
You
Illing or
you sell Luis Haas's Italian national team rights to the Albanian national team for 4 million. Boom, problem solved.
I don't know.
Oh man,
I'd be like the Rock. I'm gonna be like the Rock. Sorry, Sal.
Just
He's gonna
smack me.
play for the Albanian national team, and whether or not you're gonna like it, it's gonna happen. Because when you talk about his nationality,
Talking about nationality.
you're talking about my nationality.
Christ, you guys. On an actual serious note here, though, Sal, like, sorry, I just my brain exploded over this whole situation. So we'll get back to like what you actually think about this, because you've obviously you're the news guy. You've read this.
Yeah, I think honestly, I think that I like it. I think he's the name that hasn't gone away, right? And the Charlie thing, I mean, yeah, if it pops off, it's great. I don't honestly think we're going to spend too big transfer fees on these guys, especially because they're both kind of the player that we're missing, right? So it's like that player that can play that incisive pass. Why are you gonna pay double for that, right? We already have that issue where we have multiple midfielders doing the same thing. So it will kind of like, first off, we don't have the money and we can't upset the balance. But if they can have something, and if Alcaraz like winds up popping off, then they say, hey, maybe we don't need him, So they're keeping their options open here.
And the article says they can make two big signings. That doesn't mean those two big signings are Coop and Samardich. It could be actually signing Charlie and one of Coop or Samardich.
Right.
Or some other dude out there. We don't know.
It just doesn't make sense to do too big to have two big transfer fees. That's not balanced, right? We have other areas of concern as well. I can't see us going big for similar profile play, two players of similar profiles.
Mm-hmm.
KB says sign Dybala.
You're fired.
Wait, you could technically get him at a discount now. He
Yeah.
won't be asking for 12 mil, maybe like 4 or 5.
Why? Because you think Case is going to need some he's going to need some company on the bench or
Yeah.
or
I
No,
mean,
I
if we
just
might as well
wanna-
bring Bernadeschi back. Just bring the old crew.
I just want to appease all the Dybala sexuals just for him to come back and absolutely flop
Hey.
again.
say what you want about Lord Berna. He was always healthy. He was always available.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was
No?
he was a blue. There's a blue collar guy right there,
Yeah.
right from the streets.
Yeah, blue collar with a white collar salary, but sure, yeah.
Pretty much.
Oh yeah, he got paid. Bitch has got to get paid.
Yeah,
David says we don't know if we can afford 2 big signings right now because nobody knows the plans with the Lonis and Fajoli coming back.
Or
as well.
Pog back.
That's true.
That's next week.
That is
That's
next week.
ooh.
is it next week the hearing?
Yeah.
Is it 15th or the 16th?
15th.
15th?
Do we even like so this is the thing, right? Is he healthy? Like, so has he been? I'm assuming he's training, right?
Yeah, he's on testosterone. Of course he's healthy.
Yeah, right.
He's begging his wife all the time. He's got to release all that extra testosterone.
But that's what I mean. So, like, hey, look, let's say best case scenario, right? For Pogba at least, they say, okay, you've time served, right? Whatever, that's fine. You're eligible now to be included in the squad. Can he actually play like from the jump? Or like
No, we're talking like next season stuff though, right?
Is it still next season? Like
No, he can play this season if he gets cleared of it,
Right.
and he's technically served a 6-month suspension.
But our discussion is going into next season.
going into next, yeah. Well, for sure, right? I mean, if he's eligible to play and he was found not guilty, the club doesn't have recourse to
Play him? No,
to terminate him.
no,
you know?
they're not. Exactly, they're not going to terminate him. They're going to say, "All right, man, put your shirt and shoes on. We'll see you next week."
Get going.
If they have to up his salary again, because I think they've been paying him the league minimum while this has all been going on.
Yeah.
If he gets back on that 10 mil salary and that dude can play, put him on the fucking field,
Exactly.
please.
Like, could you imagine that?
Oh,
I would die I would laugh because like the 15th Pogba his case has been annulled because of negligence or whatever, and then Pogba's back. Like,
Pog back the third.
and you know what? Even if he hasn't played in 6 months, he can still walk into the first team. He is that good.
yeah,
Yeah,
He's that good.
he is.
So it's like, yeah, please. Oh, sorry, Moretti. We'll see you later.
yeah. Go back to next gen, Moretti. We'll see you.
Yeah.
We'll see you.
They really need you. We can't
They
have
need you
him
down
have
there.
him go to Serie D.
Like, that would be hilarious. Like, I'm not gonna lie, that would be almost like a second wind. Because could you imagine, like, if Pogba somehow is able to stay healthy from February to May, like that changes the title. That changes the title race
Changes
entirely.
everything.
It changes everything. Because at least you have a midfield threat.
And then you can do that fantasy double cam setup with Charlie and Pogba, just to get all you guys stroked off.
Both of them can hit 40-yard screamers.
Yeah, then Case was really screwed. Right?
Yeah.
Sticking with that formation.
Oh yeah, Kieza's. If Charlie pops off and if Pogba pops off,
My fantasies are complete.
Is this when is it? You said the 16th?
yeah, it's 5 or 6 days from now.
Yeah, it's midweek. Okay, let's check this out.
Oh,
Calendar.
Friday.
Thursday. I think it's Thursday. We should know.
Yeah. Oh, so the 15th. Okay.
I think it's the 15th, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh man, you guys to delay the tinfoil hat a day just for
Well, the next match is on Saturday, I believe. So we might have to go live on a Friday, anyways.
Oh man.
Yeah, let me just look up. I'm pretty sure next one is Saturday.
Yeah. Calcio Twitter will explode if
Absolutely.
if he's back for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah, the Saturday 12 p.m. Eastern is the next game. So yeah, if it does happen Thursday at the latest, we're going live on Friday. So
Man.
yeah, at the latest. Yeah, Dave, you're the party pooper. You're just staying sober tonight. You're gonna have a heavy day tomorrow. I wanted to check. I think Fard had uploaded a couple things on here. Let's see what he got.
Nope, that's not it at all.
What's this?
Oh, I was gonna do a funny segment. Someone took a picture of me. I saw. Damn it! Now it's just
You?
awkward. You just
Okay.
awkwardly threw a picture of
Oh,
my
so
ass.
that's the other thing. Okay,
Yeah. No,
that's you. Okay, I was just wondering what these weird things were.
No, I was so I actually got to tour a college training facility and look at a practice and stuff.
Okay, let's pretend nothing happened.
Yeah, let's pretend nothing happened. Throw flash Rabio. Nothing happened.
All right. On that note, what don't you want to see?
He doesn't want to see. He's like, I don't want to see it.
Oh, he doesn't want to see the whole Pogwar deal. No, you're here for the ride. You're gonna enjoy it.
Choo choo.
Sit down and enjoy it,
Be a
whether
good
you
boy.
like it or not.
Brother,
This thing is so
what's
ridiculous.
that? What's that, brother?
I mean, look, don't get me wrong, right? If this goes wrong against him, and Juve has an opportunity to cut ties and not have to pay him $10 million next year,
Oh, sure.
do it.
Listen, this is hilarious either way. It's a win-win situation.
But just for like the actual like chaos that it will cause if they do rescind his, forget it. I'm here for that too.
Oh, I know. It's either that or you just pretty much. It's like there's no wrong. It's just pretty much. Yeah. You either got that, and if anybody has an issue about what they think, well, here.
Okay, easy,
Gosh, I love
easy
these.
there, easy
love
there. WWE nerds.
Slap the teeth out of your mouth.
Oh boy. Okay.
If there was ever a time to come back to WWE, it's now.
I watched WrestleMania with you guys. I didn't know what the hell was going
Oh
on.
no, you're going to watch WrestleMania.
Oh, you're gonna watch WrestleMania.
What did I watch?
Rumble.
I watched SummerSlam. Call me for SummerSlam.
You
Everything
watch
else can go.
the Rumble with us.
He was watching the Rumble. We're getting Dave.
Oh,
to
the
watch
Rumble, the
WrestleMania.
Rumble.
Oh man, I wish I
How about like the
it.
King of the Ring? The King of the Ring is the good one, isn't
I
it?
think they got rid of that, didn't they?
Yeah, I think it was like 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Fuck.
I wish, to be honest with you, Sal, I wish you recorded some of Dave's like just one-liners throughout the entire watch long.
Well, we thought he dropped off like 45 minutes before.
Yeah, yeah, we thought he was gone. Like I remember the Nia Jax when she came out. Dave's like, "That's a huge bitch."
Yeah, I was lurking. I was lurking hard that night.
he's like, you see Nia Jax get lifted when Jade lifted her. She, damn, she fucking lifted the shit out of that one.
Yeah, I mean, I gotta entertain myself somehow.
That was awesome. Like Dave was just coming in. I thought it would be like that's a Vlad thing, but Dave was just coming in ripping off one-liners, and like we're all in the watch room, just like, oh shit, he's still awake.
I don't rip one-liners as much on lives because you have to keep things flowing, and one-liners kind of stop the flow, you know. So yeah, there's a time and a place. So a good, you're a comedian, you know what's about delivery.
Oh, I know, absolutely. And I think the best line that broke the entire room was when R-Truth came out saying, "Wait, y'all telling me though my women?"
I'm just saying, we're all here for it. So hop into the World Wildlife Federation. If you want.
We are going to do a watch party in Discord for the Elimination Chamber in Perth. That is going to be something that I know German David is going to be in there. I think you'll be available, right, Sal?
Yeah. When is that? What date is that?
I got to remember the date for it, but I think it's like 2 Saturdays from now.
I should be. It's a February one.
Yeah.
If not, yeah, I should be. If not, then I'll still try to pop in whenever I can. Because I'm going to get updates.
Yeah.
If my wife lets me get away for a minute.
February 24th, Saturday.
All right, cool.
I got to figure out the time because since it's in Australia, it might be earlier.
Oh, yeah, no, I'll definitely be around. Yep.
All right, sure your lives out, guys.
Oh, it's going to be early as fuck in the morning. It says February 24th with a main card starting at 5 a.m.
5 a.m. Eastern?
Yeah.
2 a.m.
Might have to.
time?
Yeah, 2 a.m. your time.
Good luck. Good luck with that, guys.
Yeah, I don't know. We got to figure something out. We'll work on the logistics. We might just watch the replay on Peacock or something after. I don't know.
No spoilers.
Yeah, no spoilers.
I'm pretty sure I won't spoil anything
German
for you
Dave
guys.
says we got a breakfast for him. It's at breakfast time.
I love the brag. We do that with F1 sometimes. We have breakfast and watch F1.
No, the best moment of the
You're gonna have
night.
to stream Hamilton's first race for Ferrari, man.
Oh, that's, I mean, another year and 2 months from now. Let's just simmer down. Got a whole season. Anyways,
I can't
Dash.
imagine. Dave's gonna buy the red Ferrari Pumas, the shoes.
I almost did because there's an outlet mall. Like when I drive into the city, there's the outlet mall. And I mean, I have Pumas. I do have Pumas somewhere around here. I always
my partner at work has them. Yeah, like he came into the office in them, and I looked at him. I'm like, damn, I didn't realize you're a big Lewis Hamilton fan. He's like, what? No, I always had these. I just wore them.
doing that. I almost did, but I think that's when I bought the Italian training jersey. So I was like, I don't need that for it. And I wasn't super into F1 at that time. If I went back now, I totally would have, because I'm actually Thursday nights I play in an F1 league. I haven't actually finished a race yet, but I do play in the league.
You just like spin people out, or you get spun out?
No, I just suck. I just suck a lot.
I just
I crashed into the pit wall this Thursday. So that was
Dave.
fun.
It's okay, buddy.
We have fun. That's all that
It's all
matters. That's all that matters.
Alrighty. I love the Puma Ferrari shoes as a child, but at some point we got to grow up. Yikes.
No, I would only do it because I have a red Honda Civic Sport hatchback, right? So when I got pulled over for going 20 over the speed limit with my Ferrari sticker on the back.
Kilometers or miles per hour? What are we talking about?
Kilometers, 120.
That's it.
I did actually get pulled over not
kilometers?
too long ago because I... let's
That's
go real
rough.
quick. Real quick.
Actually, I have a Lewis Hamilton signed McLaren cap. Ooh. Alrighty.
I don't actually like Hamilton. But yeah, I was trying to play this music for a while now, guys. Jeez.
You should probably play it, huh?
Come on. Let's go.
Alrighty, everybody. Thanks for tuning into this week's call-in show. Obviously, a little bit of Udinese, but there's not really too much. It's a get-right game, guys. Just get your shit together. Get right. As our truth would say, you need to get right because I saw it in your eyes. And on that note, guys, thanks for tuning into the call-in show. Make sure you like and subscribe on the video. If you don't, Roman Reigns or The Rock's little brother, Roman Reigns, will come after you and make you like the channel. And we'll have lasagna talk later. But on that note, guys, we'll see you.
Good night, everyone. See you in a couple days for game day.